One thing you may not know if you're new to hockey is that the NHL has a lot of different awards and a lot of awards that are really specific. And like most sports, there are two different MVP awards. There is the MVP of the regular season as well as the MVP of the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, the thing about this that's really important to understand for the context of Scott receiving this award is that the award he's receiving appears to be the MVP for the regular season. The voting for that award would have been done before Scott came out and before he won the cup. When it comes to the regular season awards, different awards are voted on by different groups, meaning that some awards are voted on by the players, other awards are voted on by the coaches and the staff, and the MVP award that Scott is accepting, along with other awards that are awarded in this season, are voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. So what's really important to understand about this award for Scott is that it is not an award that was given to him by his peers or by the coaching staff or by the league itself. It would actually have been voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. And again, that voting would have actually been based on Scott's regular season. And the timing of this voting and when things would have been announced is actually that the finalists would have been announced at the end of the regular season before the playoffs, and the winner would have been announced at the MLH Awards, which is where we see Scott accept it. Knowing all of that, it puts things really into context when we see Scott accept this award, but also it puts his mindset into context when we talk about him coming out. Heading into the playoffs in the first place, just in the first round before we even get all the way to the finals, Scott would have known that he was a finalist for MVP. He's obviously had a number of seasons we've watched where Scott has basically been falling apart at the seams. We know that episode 3, which is where we see a lot of this down spiral in his performance, takes place just a couple of months before the Olympics, and that this episode is 3 years after that experience. But we also know that over the past 3 years, Scott has not only built himself back up to being a Stanley Cup champion, but that he has come back from 3 years ago where everyone was saying he was washed, he was too old, and that he would never hold the cup. For Scott to be a finalist for MVP, he really was at a point where everyone, including critics, believed that he was one of the strongest players in the league. So for all of that to already be part of his mindset heading into the playoffs, he not only has the pressure of that to be able to maintain it and get all the way through the finals and win the cup, it also means that he understands that he has actually gotten himself to a point where everyone seems to respect him and believe in him, and at the very height of that makes the decision to make his relationship with Kip incredibly public. Having the context of knowing that Scott's MVP award was not voted on by his peers, but by the journalists who write about hockey and have been criticizing him for years, and that this vote was made before he came out or before he even won the cup, really puts into perspective that this is not the league accepting who Scott is or accepting his relationship with Kip, and it's certainly not them celebrating it. It's actually an award that was decided on by merit before he even stepped foot onto the ice for the playoffs. So when we listen to Scott's speech where he talks so much about hockey culture and what it was like to grow up in these locker rooms and to continue being a man in these locker rooms moving forward in his professional career, there's this interesting dichotomy that comes out of him accepting this award that he's earned, but also understanding that it is not an award of acceptance.